Hey everybody, it's Starjump Grim. Let me know if you can hear me okay in chat. Give me that 5x5 if you wouldn't mind. Hopefully my mic is coming in pretty clear. All right, thank you, Jack. Everyone will be live on camera in just a second. All right. Hi, everybody. It's nice to see you all again. It has been a few days. I've been traveling. I just realized every time I stream, I'm wearing something that's covered in dog hair. Nice to see everybody in chat, getting a good crowd forming already, which I appreciate. 14 over on Twitch and coming in at 47 over on YouTube. So thanks for everybody taking a little time out of your day to hang out and talk. As you know, this is Starjump Shipyard, the ship-focused discussion show that I like to do on Tuesdays, where we generally will take a topic, discuss it, figure it out. Today was originally going to be continued work on the Argo Capital, but I had to put a pin in that for just for one more week because I just got back from a trip this weekend and I did not have the time I thought I was going to have to get some of the 3D work done while I was traveling. I did take it with me when I traveled. I just did not. I was not able to get back to it. So I need to do a little bit of that work this week, and then next Tuesday we'll finish the Argo Capital build. So if you're here for that, and we're excited to see that because I think I did mention that last episode I'd be covering that. I'm not. So we're going to wait on that one for one more week. However, today we do have some fun stuff to talk about. I think someone said it in chat. Yes, we are going to talk about some unreleased concept JPEGs, as always. But first off, let's go ahead and get to it. It's St. Jude Play Live campaign that Starjump is currently doing, currently in the month of April. Goes on for April and May. We've already raised an incredible amount of money. You can see right up there, we've raised $4,405 raised. Next goal is 5,000. So we're very, very close on that. Really appreciate everyone. I've got some alerts that Ender has sent to me. We got our, let me see if I can get that. There we go, our lifetime fundraising. Most of it done by Ender himself at 20,848. Such an accomplishment. You can see our top leaderboard currently. Ambiguities came in with a massive donation, which was absolutely amazing. And we have our current donors at the very top. So hopefully that gives you a plethora of information. If you do want to donate to St. Jude, you can use the Tiltify link QR code right there, or exclamation donate from me or my mods. We'll pop that up, and it pops up right there in chat. For those of you on YouTube, I'm going to pin the donation link to the top of the YouTube chat because I know sometimes it does not come over, so I am going to pin that now. You can go to the top there and do that. We do have a number of raffles going on right now. So when you do your donation, depending on how much you donate, you can get in on those raffles. We have a Cutter Red Festival starter pack. I think minimum donation for that is 5 or 10. I'd have to look that up. Sorry. But you can donate towards that when you go to the Tiltify link. We also have a 600i, which I believe is a $40 ticket price. You can get in on that raffle. Again, this money going straight to St. Jude. Or for a $100 ticket purchase, you get you a ticket to the Polaris giveaway that we'll be doing on the 30th. So we'll give away the Cutter. I think the Cutter's being given away tonight on Ender's stream. So make sure you catch that. I might be streaming. I don't know. But on Ender's stream, you'll be able to, I think he's doing the Cutter giveaway. On the 15th, which is next Tuesday, I believe, will be the 600i giveaway. And then on the 30th of April will be the Polaris giveaway. Now, I do think after tonight, when the Cutter Red Festival is given away, I do think another one starts, or another one starts soon after. Okay. So yes, appreciate that, everyone. Your donations go to help sick children and their families as they battle cancer. That money goes directly to St. Jude. None of it comes to Starjump, so we really appreciate that support. Thank you very, very much. What are we talking about today? We're talking about the Aegis Nautilus and the Genesis Starliner. we hopefully will get to both. What is this show? Because you've probably heard me talk a little bit recently that I was going to do a pre-recorded VOD episode of those two ships. So sort of like my pre-recorded ones in the past on the Kraken, the Crucible, the Endeavor. I said I was going to do episodes like that pre-recorded on the Nautilus and on the Genesis Starliner. That is still the case. I'm still working on those. So why am I doing this episode? This episode is to talk to you all about these two ships. And sort of one of the things I do when I do those episodes is I have to do a lot of research. And that's sort of what this episode is. We're going to kind of be researching together. We can talk about it together. If there's interesting things about these ships that you bring up in chat, I'm probably going to notate them down. So when I do the full recorded episode, we can talk about that, or I'll talk about that in the full episode. So that's what this episode is kind of for. It's to go over those ships, refresh me on a lot of the details surrounding those ships. One of them I know better than the other. They're both. One of them is a moderately old concept and one is a very old concept. So again, we're going to be kind of getting ourselves acclimated to those concept ships again, understanding what they are, questioning whether they're Star Citizen 1.0 ships or post 1.0 ships. We're going to get into that. I have some thoughts on that. And generally just deep diving them. We're going to talk about St. Jude for a little bit. As you all know, the St. Jude, or sorry, my Shipyard streams generally last about 2 hours usually. So, all right, let me get a few things up here. Bear with me. Bear with me. Okay, let's see here. So, hold on one second, everybody. Okay. That being said, how's everybody doing? How was your weekend? Quinn says Starliner has a variant for holding racing vehicles. I feel like people forget about that. Yeah, the Starliner has a few variants. We're going to talk about that. One is a military variant. The only thing to keep in mind is that the concept is so old. I do think CIG is going to change a lot about it. So just keep that in mind. Where do we start though? So where we start, we're going to switch over and we're going to talk about the Nautilus first because the Nautilus is the most straightforward. Zotobe, good day to you as well. Congratulations on your Misk Fortune win. I think you won the Misk Fortune raffle, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. So very, very cool. Congratulations. Again, everyone. Appreciate everybody hanging out in chat. I'm not super prepared today, by the way, everyone. This is why it's what I call a research show where we're going to be researching together. So thanks for your patience. Agent 1213, first person to send the javelin overhead today. Hopefully not the last. Thank you, Agent. Appreciate it. Salute to you. Great crowd forming, everyone. Really appreciate it. 20 over on Twitch and looking at 53 over on YouTube. Great. Very good. Okay. Let's kind of move into things here. So the Nautilus is a strategic mine lane ship. Kiru0815, thank you very much for sending the javelin overhead. Very, very cool. Thank you very much. Iron Eye 2.0 says hi from Canada. Hello, Canadian. Hope you're doing well. I'm down in Ohio. Our northern neighbors, appreciate seeing you here. I was not too awful long ago, very close to the Canadian border. I haven't been to Canada much. I did go to Vancouver one time. I absolutely love Vancouver. It's one of my favorite cities. Kiro, hello all. Salute. Salute. Thank you for that stretch. Appreciate it. Just gave myself a nice stretch. All right. Let's talk about the Nautilus here, everybody. The Nautilus strategic mine layer. We're going to watch a little bit of the Inside Star Citizen about this ship in just a second. So there is going to be a little bit of reaction show watching during this episode. So apologies if that's something you don't like. But again, this is a research episode, so I need to sort of catch myself back up on what these ships do. So the Nautilus strategic mine layer, it's technically a pretty old ship in the Star Citizen lore. It's, as you see here, it's sort of in 2949. So what, 6 years ago, or 5 or 6 years ago at this point, this ship was celebrating its 400-year in-game anniversary. So it's an old ship. It does deploy a plethora of ordnance in the Firestorm Kinetics Tephra homing mine. Some of you have heard me talk about the Tephra homing mine before. This is what it looks like. This is exactly what it sounds like. It is a mine that can home in on targets. John Crew, I think, has talked in the past a little bit about the homing distance. We'll get into that in a minute when we talk more in depth about this mine. It also can deploy the Sentry Mine, the VLR-11 Sentry Mine. Really cool. Again, I forget what size guns this has. Maybe it says in the Q&A. We'll look that up. I do know the Tephra Mine, though, is supposed to be a size 5, but no one should hang their hat on that. They could easily switch that up. Hey, Execute. No, not building today. I was not able to get to it this week. I was not able to prep the Argo thing because I was traveling. So I'm going to have to delay it one more week to next Tuesday. I just was not able to get to it. I was actually off seeing my grandfather, who's very, very ill. So I was down in Florida dealing with that. Because I said, thank you, Bingo. Yeah, so Pappy Boy, exactly. It is a size 5 homing mine, but that can change. And CIG has also alluded to that the size of a mine is exactly commensurate with the size of like a gun or something. Or it's probably more in line with something like a torpedo. So when you think size 5 mine, you could compare that to a size 5 torpedo, something like on the Perseus. Iron Eye, thank you for that follow. Appreciate it. Yeah, and Execute says it there. When they talked to John and Ben, both of them said that there could be bigger mines in the future and bigger mine layers. I fully suspect that. Remember, the key thing to remember is that while, yes, the Nautilus is a large ship, 125 meters, if I'm not mistaken, while it is a large ship, generally ships punch down, so its weapon loadout is not to destroy ships that are Polaris size. The Nautilus is designed to deploy mines to deal with ships smaller than itself, probably. Okay, where these mines are probably going to be especially deadly are ships like the Constellation and Zeus and Spirits and stuff like that. Anything from like that 30-meter to 60, 70-meter length is going to be a prime target for these Tephra homing mines. I personally still think that the Nautilus is going to be able to deploy a larger mine that that still small enough to get out of its mine ejection port, but it'll be maybe an overpressure mine or something. But essentially, the idea behind it will be that it can carry some bigger mines, but it carries fewer of them. I still think they're going to go that direction with it, just to make the Nautilus a little bit more flexible. But again, the Sentry mine is really cool. You see that's firing at smaller ships here. Again, the Sentry mine is not meant to gun down a Polaris. It's not meant to gun down an Aegis. This thing is meant to attack fighters and stuff like that. Last but not least, it is equipped with the Saga Data Systems Nemo drone. The Nemo drone stands for Neutralize and Employ Mine Ordnance. Essentially, this is a drone that is meant to defuse mines, defuse and collect mines, essentially. So it is a mine layer, but it's also a mine sweeper. The Nautilus is a mine sweeper. So I've heard, one of the biggest things I hear about the Nautilus, honestly, is that it's not going to be useful. And one second. Thank you very much, Ray. Appreciate that follow. Thank you very much. I was just getting a DM from Tree, who sent me some great videos I actually already have prepared to show, so no worries, but I do appreciate that, Tree, looking out for me. Thank you for that follow, Ray. Really appreciate you. So one of the things I hear about the Nautilus, though, is that it's not going to be useful. The size 5 mines aren't going to do anything. And I think that's ultimately just because people are being maybe a little short-sighted with the flexibility behind the Nautilus. First off, I do think the Nautilus is going to get slightly upgunned to some degree, not Polaris level, but maybe slightly upgunned. It does have dual size 7s on the front, which is nothing to smirk at. And it's got a pretty big missile launcher. It's got 2 turrets, 2 man turrets on the port and starboard side. Oh, we just had a donation for the Origin come in. Thank you very much. That's from Cindy Senderson. Thank you very much. I need to move my St. Jude alert down a little bit. Cindy, thank you very much. Giving you the double salute for that. Appreciate you. But a lot of people, I just think, don't think about ways to use the Nautilus that maybe it wasn't that your mind doesn't initially go to. So for example, one of the primary ways I could see using a Nautilus, especially in the future when you're building large bases on the surface of a planet or moon, or you in the future when we have space stations and all that, you're going to want to set mine fields around those to simply act as essentially trespasser nets, fences essentially, that when those mines start homing or the sentry mines start going off, even if they have no chance of destroying the ship, you do get an alert that someone is inbound. So it's essentially a tripwire. Okay, sort of like those tripwires where it shoots up a flare to kind of alert you that someone's come into your area. This would be the same sort of thing. In addition to that, you're going to use the Nautilus as a mine sweeper. Absolutely going to use it as a mine sweeper from time to time. I can see that happening. I don't know how long the mines are supposed to stay active on the surface or out in space when you do drop a minefield. They have spoke to that before, but I forget what the length of time on that is. I don't know if anyone in chat can remember. I think John Cruz said maybe it was like, what did he say? I can't remember actually. He did say, but I can't remember what it was. And by the way, you might see me look off from time to time. It's because I am finding additional material here. Where did I put? I had some. Oh, there we go. And there have been additional mines talked about in the past, and we've seen screenshots about this. I can pull up a few images now that have been seen semi-recently on Star Citizen Live. You can see here one of the, I think this is either the Tephra homing mine, but it's been redesigned, or it's a different type of homing mine. Or maybe it's a static mine, right? But regardless, you can see these little pieces here. You can see the mine up here, but you can also see these little pieces that pop out. Again, unknown of the scale of this mine. These things pop out, and I'm sure when a ship or something comes in contact with that and hits these little things, the mine detonates. Okay, so again, this, if you look, this looks different than the Tephra homing mine, which is this one here. You can see it still has those little pressure plates that pop out. But while it doesn't look like that, it's still obviously a mine of some sort. We've seen additional mines as well. These here, you can actually see some different shape ones here. This one, I almost wonder if this is some sort of electromagnetic mine of some type. Maybe it puts out a strong magnetic EM signature that allows for the disruption of future scanning, right? Can you imagine an EM field, a mine field where it puts out high concentrations of electromagnetic radiation, and either scanning ships get blinded by it, or you can hide ships within that field or whatever, or maybe this is an EMP mine, right, that disables ships. It could be that as well. Who's it said? Charles here, Charles DCI mentioned surveillance drones. Again, we could have mines, or I guess they wouldn't be mines, they'd be drones that you deploy that are surveillance drones, scanning drones. The sky's the limit really on the different types of mines they could put out. There's another image here I will show of additional mines here that they were playing around with. And again, this wasn't from too awful long ago. You can see several different designs here, including this really interesting one. I don't know what this is, but I think it looks really cool. But where I'm going with this is the Tephra homing mine and the Sentry mine and the Nemo drone. I fully expect that the Nautilus is going to be able to carry different ordnance beyond those, 100%. Socially Confused says QT snares are enforcement mine. I think so. I think it would be some sort of enforcement mine or area of denial mine, essentially. Locking people down a certain area. Fingers on Twitch says decoys. Absolutely. I could see decoys being a big part of a Nautilus's a role in any sort of fleet battle. As you all remember, we will have instanced fleet battles in Star System 1.0. This has been talked about. I will see the Nautilus playing a role there for sure. Cody Fox on YouTube says, how big will the star systems need to be for the Nautilus to be usable? I can't imagine CIG will want mines placed in highly concentrated area like the space and the points of interest we have now. Well, deploying mines will be like deploying any other weapons, and they talked a little bit about this before, where you could deploy a mine in a place like Stanton, but there's going to be a crime stat associated with it because it's going to be considered attacking, essentially, right? So the big question mark will be, do you get a crime stat for dropping a mine, or do you get a crime stat when that mine eventually finds a target? We don't know that. In places like Pyro and Nyx, though, which are two places that are not patrolled and overseen by the UEE, you could lay mines anywhere. It's open space. You could technically lay them at the jump point entrance, right? That is emergent gameplay. At that point, you do need to have a ship like the Nautilus or something come in and do mine sweeping to clear those areas out. Also, thing to remember about the Nautilus, everyone, is they talk about it as being heavily armored. So so a Nautilus could probably fly into a Nautilus minefield and survive. It'll probably survive the size 5 homing mines, and it will try to disable them, obviously. If I had to request a feature for the Nautilus, it would be hacking ability to hack mines. Also, that would be another feature I would add to the Nautilus. T-Jack says you can use the mines to protect your claim areas. Say you have a mining section of space, you can set the parameter with the mines to protect your stakes. Absolutely. Again, you're going to be able to set these mines to attack just hostile targets, or and not attack party members or friends or org members. So I think that's going to be a big deal, right? By the way, everyone, thank you for popping in today. Got 40 over on Twitch and 86 on YouTube. Great showing on today on YouTube. Thank you for the follows and the subscribes and all that good stuff. Really, really appreciate it. Yes, Jeff, the Nautilus is also a minesweeper. Very much. Yes, Ender, we got a $45 donation by Cindy Senderson towards the Origin 600i. Just getting started, though, everyone. If you want to donate to Tiltify, use the Tiltify QR code you see on my screen, or go to this link right here that I'm posting in chat. Those of you on YouTube, I have the Tiltify link pinned to the top of chat. All you got to do is click on that and go to, do I have it up? Let me see. Stand by, everybody. Stand by. Stand by. Where is it? Where is it? Do I have it? I don't have it anymore. Where did I? Let me grab something here, everybody. Just a second. I lost one of my things. There we go. Let me move this down here since it's now covering me up. But we do have three active raffles going on with the Cutter Red Festival Starter Pack. That, I believe, is a $5 or $10 ticket price with your donation. You can select that when you go to the Tiltify link. That giveaway will be tonight, I think, on Ender's stream. I may stream tonight. I'm not 100% sure, but on Ender's stream, and I'll try to push people there if I do end up streaming, but I may not. Either way, he'll be giving that away tonight. On April 15th, we'll be giving away the Origin 600i. That is with LTI. That is a $40 ticket price when you donate to the Tiltify. Again, your donation is you buying the ticket, okay? So when you donate your money to St. Jude through the Tiltify link, you get to select which raffle you're entering, okay? And we'll be giving away that on April 15th. That is, again, a $40 ticket price. On April 30th, we'll be giving away an RSI Polaris Corvette. That's a $100 ticket buy-in on that one. Again, everyone, I want to stress, this money does not come to Starjump at all. We don't touch it. It goes directly to St. Jude, okay? 100% to St. Jude. Eagle0013 donated $5 to the Cutter, donated to No More Chemo Party and also the Cutter Red Festival Starter Pack, which is awesome. Thank you very much, Eagle. Giving you the salute. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. That is awesome. Okay. Clicking back over to our mines. Here we go, everybody. Ultimately, what I'm trying to get with some of these stills here showing the different mines is that if you're talking to someone about the Nautilus, and the homing mine and the Sentry mine are kind of what come up, I think you can say with some level of confidence there's going to be other types of mines that the Nautilus can deploy. Okay, so it's not going to be just these. I do know that in the past, John Crew has mentioned the distance they are thinking for the mines, and I can't remember the number or if he even said an exact number, but what he did say is that it was tens of thousands of kilometers, essentially, or tens of thousands of meters. I have to look. We'll find out. Again, this is what this stream is all about. We are researching. We're researching. So moving down, talking about the design here. Actually, before we start to get into the design of the ship, let's go ahead and switch over to the Nautilus inside Star Citizen here. So we're going to jump in that. Hopefully you can all hear it okay. I may stop and pause if there's anything interesting we want to talk about. This is not a very long segment. It's only about 2.5 minutes or so. But a lot of people haven't seen some of these old videos. I think this is from summer of 2019. Inside Star Citizen episode is called "What's Mine Is Yours." Let's go ahead and give it a watch.
Yeah, this side.
The Nautilus brings exciting gameplay to the Star Citizen universe because it's something very traditional for Chris Roberts style games. I think it just adds a lot of extra depth. Our combat gameplay is very offensive based at the moment, so it's a lot of players going out there, hunting down other players, killing other players.
I do, Cody, stuff. I do.
Whereas there isn't a huge amount for the players that want to involve themselves in combat, but not actually be that sort of either twitch shooter or strategic bomber. They just want to play the longer game, and this is the Nautilus is the perfect ship for that. So one of the key aspects for mine layers and minesweepers is maintaining their minefields. Minefields offer a great way to add defensive gameplay to Star Citizen. They allow players, whether they're in an org or solo players, to
Pappy, yeah, it's a bit quiet. Let me see if I can boost it here a bit. I've now turned it to max volume. I'll back it up just a tad. I'm at max volume and the video is up as loud as it can be. Hopefully that comes through a little bit better. We'll see. Yeah, sorry about the video volume being low. It's just a very low volume video, actually. Hayden Kalani, thank you very much for sending the Javelin overhead. Appreciate you. Here we go. Continue the video, everyone.
Specs for mine layers and minesweepers is maintaining their minefields. Minefields offer a great way to add defensive gameplay to Star Citizen. They allow players, whether they're in an org or solo players, to ring fence or protect a sort of strategic asset, whether that's a space station or even just entry methods to certain areas.
We get the design brief from John Crew and his team, and that gives us our basic spec of what we need to hit. Chris likes to keep it as open as possible in terms of
Gooby92, thank you.
So we can just be free, basically. Out of the three, the one that Chris chose and the one that was our favourite, it's got that sort of armoured feeling about it, but then it also hits all the beats that we need to hit. It's got the big S7 gun on it.
Pausing again, sorry. Uvwe donated $40 towards the Origin 600i. Uvwe, thank you very much. Salute to you. Thank you for your support for sick kids and their family. Appreciate you. Very exciting.
It's got the silhouette change when all the mine launchers pop out. As a ship, from all angles, it looks really good. The other stuff was interesting, but this one was a clear favourite. When people see it, it's a relatively simple shape. It's essentially a triangle. Very Aegis. It's kind of it's like a tech sandwich. You've got the top and the bottom, which are simpler, and then you've got a slice of just heavy tech in the middle.
Aside from the mine laying side of the gameplay, there's the people on the other end of mines. It ties into the whole scanning and exploration side, so
I'm just going to say, CIG, I'm not sure if any ship dev team members are watching this stream. I don't think they are. Kiro with the posture check, thank you very much. I don't know if any ship dev team members are watching today. I do know sometimes they lurk, which I appreciate. But if any of them are watching, please do not change the consoles on the Nautilus. I absolutely love the bridge design. I do know that on the Polaris they switched to more like the minimal dash with a piece of glass and stuff, and I think that's fine for the Polaris because it's a brand new ship in lore. Scissor Fuzz just to subscribe. Scissor, you're getting the double salute. Thank you very much, Scissor. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. But with this ship, since it is an old ship, I personally would really like if they keep these old school kind of big, bulky sort of things. That would be absolutely awesome. We're going to watch a video here or in a minute that is the concept mesh stuff for the Nautilus. It still shows it as being there in the concept mesh. So again, hopefully they carry that through.
These mines are quite hard to detect. So obviously you wouldn't want them to be huge gleaming red beacons of light that you know are there. They sort of embed themselves into the world quite nicely, and ships that are designed for hunting things down, such as scanners, great, they can find them. If you want to go through a minefield, then the Nautilus itself can do some mine sweeping with its drones, but then other ships equipped with EMP or distortion weapons can temporarily disable them, which helps give other combat ships a way through these areas. And then there's the whole supply chain.
So again, you all heard it there. Ships with EMPs or distortion weapons will be able to disrupt the effectiveness of these mines and probably disable their ability to either detonate or to home in on a target.
Side. So whilst the Nautilus is best placed to bring more mines and recover those mines, other ships will be able to sort of assist in that functionality as well.
From materials to liveries to weapon attachments and more, yes, it's time for another.
That is the video on the Nautilus here. We're going to keep going. We have more to cover on this ship. I've seen some interesting points being made. Keeper of DeGrove on YouTube, hope you're well, Keeper, says in a game where ships shoot each other within 3 kilometers of each other for guns, it's got a lot of ground to cover to be effective needed. So hopefully I read that right. One thing I'll talk a little bit about with the mines. John Crew has also said a couple things regarding mines. One, they are going to be very hard to detect. Very hard to detect. 2, the idea behind the minefields is that they're supposed to be a wide field. They talked about the mine being able to detect you at like and home in on you at like 10,000 or 10,000 meters, so 10 kilometers, or sorry, yeah, 10 kilometers, right, or 10,000 meters. So if you spread that out over 24 or 28 mines, however many this holds, I think it's 24 mines maybe. That's a huge amount of space. Now you'll be able to do mines in circles or grids or however you want, or maybe even linear runs of mines. But regardless, I think you're going to be able to set up some really big minefields. That's how I read it. Seth Speedshop says, Grim, are we examining this for a reason? Sneaky drop for ILW? Nope. I don't think it's a sneaky drop. We're examining this, Seth, because I am doing a pre-recorded, pre-produced Shipyard episode on the Nautilus and the Starliner, like I did previously with the Kraken and Crucible and Endeavor and all that. I am doing those. This is kind of like a little bit of a group research pass on these 2 ships to sort of refresh my mind about them and sort of understand them again as I'm making those videos, as I'm making those VODs. Usually I do this research privately, but I thought, you know what? We'll just talk about them. That way, when I build out the VOD, the pre-recorded, pre-produced video, I've researched it with my awesome community here. So, so there we go. Yeah. And yes, Keeper says something interesting here too. Says 10 kilometers sounds like a reasonable range for an area to be defended. So, and that's just the homing range of one mine. So you technically could have a mine and then like 8 kilometers later do another mine, 8 kilometers later do another mine. So you could spread them out really wide and still have tracking coverage. Now the only thing I would think is that ships that are very stealthy or have really low signature outputs could probably weave through any big gaps in the minefield. So okay, going back to this, everybody, we have 3 main decks to the Aegis Nautilus. We have the top deck, which you see here. This contains things like the central lift, which comes up and hits all 3 decks. There is the mine depot. This is sort of in the back where all the mines are stored. So if you are carrying your 24 Tephra mines, they're going to be back here. Thank you very much, Seth. Appreciate it. And then over here, we have the mine control room. So up on the top deck, we're going to have mine depot and mine control room. Okay, that's where that's going to be located. Lillian says, interesting question. Carrick has 2 drone bays. With its scanners, it might end up being a better minesweeper than the Naughty. It's very possible. Again, we know there's going to be some interplay there. The Carrick should be able to carry the Nemo drone, so it is very possible. It's very possible. Next, we'll go to the main deck here. You can see the cross section. Lots of pointers here. I really love the layout of the main deck. If you've really looked into this, and we're going to look at a video here, and you're going to see how well thought out the ship is. But obviously, we have the main bridge up front. We have escape pods, of course. This will come into play when Death of a Spaceman and all that stuff, and Time to Kill and all that really comes in the game in a big way. We have the docking collar. This could get upgraded to a capital docking collar. I'm not really sure, or not a capital, but the same. This will be the same size docking collar as like the Hull C has, just so anyone knows. But you will be able to dock with the capital collars, I would think, with those docking collars, even if it's a smaller one like the Hull C has. We have the turrets. These come equipped with dual size 3 gun turrets. These are on either side. I do anticipate those getting upgraded. Just based off where CIG has been moving with turrets, I do think these are going to turn into dual size 4s. Okay. On the front, by the way, we do still, this isn't that marker, but we do have dual size 7 man turret here. But I do think these are going to be upgraded to dual size 4. Quinn says, if it was going to rework this, what would you add or take away? It really just minor things. I think I would upgrade these to dual size 4, the turrets. And I think I would give the ship hacking some level of hacking ability so that it can hack mines for its mine sweeping capability. We have the crew quarters here, for crews to be able to support it in longer missions. We have the central lift again that goes through the entire ship. I always love ships that have a central lift. We have the mess hall. Again, you got to feed everybody and have a great place for everybody to hang out, get together, have those pre-mission meetings. And then over here we have engine control room. So obviously that's where engineering will take place, all that good stuff. Going to the sweep, you do see kind of a missing area here. That's because we got to move down to the sweep deck, which occupies a lot of that. On the sweep deck, we have the drone bay. This will just store and deploy Nemo drones. And by the way, everyone, it can hold the Nemo drones in addition to mines. So holding the Nemo drones does not take away your ability to carry a bunch of mines. So just keep that in mind. We again have the central lift running through the central core of that ship. We have the cargo bay. So this has an expansive cargo hold that accommodates up to 64 SCU of cargo. It is also very possible that the cargo area of the ship could be expanded a little bit. They won't reduce it, but it's possible we could go from 64 to like 80 or 90 something. It's possible. I don't think there's any real need to do that. It's just possible. I think they are starting to take a look at some of their ships and see if there's any additional way to reformat some of that cargo holding. We just saw that with the Valkyrie where it got its ability to stack cargo. You never know with some of these older concepts. They may have figured the 64 SCU of cargo as single stack, but with it being able to be double stacked, if there's enough room, then who knows, possibly the cargo could double. We just have to wait and see on that one. And then finally back here, the mine bay, the Nemo drones safely return deactivated mines for quick integration, or again, we have the mine deploying arms, which there are 4, I think, the ability to do 4 mines at a time. You see these little pieces back here. These are the mine deployment arms. You're going to see that a little better in a video we're going to play in just a minute. There we go, though. That is the ship here. They originally had sort of a in-game, or sorry, on website meta mission that you could participate in when the concept went live. It is no longer playable, by the way. Sorry about that. But if you completed it, you would get a unique livery known as the Solstice edition of the ship. It's more of a black and white livery with gold accents. Actually really, really nice. The ship also, all the Warbond Nautiluses come with a unique serial number that is displayed on top on the side of the ship. For any of you that have seen the Nautilus, this is its serial number. So it's got this like real big graphic serial number on the side, which I love and I hope they keep. And you're supposed to be able to get a custom one with that, or a unique one. Sorry, not a custom one. Okay, so that is that video on the Star Citizen Tools website. Big shout out to starcitizen.tools. They run a great website. Starjump uses it quite a bit for confirming things, you know, whether it's a fleet viewer thing or something like that, ship information, all that. Again, going over some of the stuff. The ship is kind of an expensive ship for what it is. Standalone price with credit $725 with a war bond price of $675. So this is an expensive ship. Again, this is a combat ship. This is a military ship. For those of you interested in it, by the way, this is something you want. Coming up on Invictus, which is at the end of May, you will have the opportunity to pledge for the Nautilus if it's a ship that interests you. I'm not going to go over a lot of the avionics and propulsion stuff. I will call these out in the actual recorded video. The reason I don't want to spend too much time on them is you all know my opinion on stats like this. They are subject to and probably will change. So I don't put a lot of weight into these. On the weaponry side of things, again, I told you all that there is a dual size 7 up at the front. That is a manned forward-facing turret. There is one size 3 belly missile rack turret, and then the 2 quad size 4 port and starboard manned turrets. I believe they're manned, or maybe they're remote. That one I need to look into. Bingo says 816-80085, your custom serial number. I need to look at what mine is. I don't know if it actually says it yet. Again, a little bit more information about the ship here. Nothing that we haven't gone over. There's some history here. Obviously, we're going to go over that in the VOD at length. We're going to talk a lot about that. This ship had a big role to play in that you know, in the UEE to Varan Cold War. So we're going to go over that. There's a lot of callbacks to you know, a big situation with this ship during you know, at the Perry line. Again, going into that second Varan War, eventually the Vandal War and stuff. So the funny thing about this ship is, to me, a cool time to try to release this ship, and we're going to talk about possible release, but a cool time to release this this ship would possibly be during the time that CIG brings Castra into the game, because Castra sits right on the Perry line. It was a stronghold during that UEE Tavaran the Human Xi'an Cold War. That's when that was a big deal. And I don't know, and Sherman is a big military port. It just seems like a perfect time to bring the Nautilus in. Yes, the gameplay doesn't really, I mean, you know, they need to have mine gameplay coming in. That's what's going to bring in the Nautilus. But if you were to try to think of a time period where it'd be cool to bring the Nautilus in, I think it would be during whenever Castra comes to the game, because it's like perfectly themed. Everyone, do not forget, you can see it up top here. We are at $4,490 raised. We're so excited to get to that 5,000 goal eventually. You can use the QR code there right in the lower right of the screen, or you can go to the links that are about to pop up in the Twitch chat, or the link pinned to the top of the YouTube chat to go and donate towards St. Jude. That money, through our Tiltify link, that money goes directly to St. Jude, and in the meantime, you can apply that donation to raffle tickets that you can pick up for a variety of ships. Again, we're going to be giving away a lot of stuff over the course of April and May. Right now, we have a raffle going on for a Cutter Starter Pack, a 600i Explorer, and an RSI Polaris. Okay, and we got a lot more coming, a lot more ships, a lot more items. In May, we're going to be doing custom Starjump Fleet Viewer liveries. We got all kinds of plans. Okay. Here is the Nautilus Solstice Edition. Here again, very small pick. Oh, there it is. This was exclusive to Concierge members, and if you played that game. But this is the Solstice livery. Again, it's the black and the brighter gray along with the gold accents. Really cool. That's the one I have. Thank you, Starlet, for hooking me up with the Solstice Edition of the Nautilus. I'm very excited about that. I do hope it's a paint, though, that we can switch out. Additional imagery here. I want to go ahead and call out the artist because I think that's important. Where is it? Yes. The Aegis Nautilus, as you know, we all cover Gavin Rothery a lot on this channel. This is a ship, however, developed by Michael Oberschneider. He's done a lot of ships in Star Citizen. I know he had a big role to play on the Aegis Idris, and I think a lot of Aegis ships. But the Nautilus is his baby. This is his art station page, so big shout out to him. He's principal concept designer, freelancer, just like Gavin. He does some of my favorite ships as well. He shows some of the behind-the-scene work of some of those concept images, which I think is really, really cool. So you can see the finished image here and the mesh mock-up here. So really cool. These front guns, by the way, Keeper, are these are dual size 7. This is a dual size 7 gun mount up here. You can see in this image here, they're attaching the dual size 7 mount. And I love this like under construction image. I wish CIG did more of these. They're so cool. They did this for the Perseus as well. And I think they did one for the Kraken. Again, you can see the grayscale mock-up of this. Really cool. Here you can see the Nautilus deploying mines. Again, it's got a mine chute here, a mine chute here, another one on the starboard side, and one on the top of the ship. So it can deploy 4 mines at once. You can actually see it here deploying multiple mines as well as sentries. It's got 2 sentries out and 3 mines out right now, or almost 4. Here we see the ship landed planet size being loaded for bear. Again, pretty big ship, 125 meters long. So this thing is almost exactly as long as a Carrack, but obviously a lot thinner. It's a lot thinner, but they packed a lot into it. But the same length as a Carrack if you're wondering how big it will be. Quinn, thank you very much. Appreciate that. So yeah, very cool image. Love this one. I never noticed that they're standing on top of a Nautilus over here, these 2 guys. That's actually pretty cool. I never noticed that. Another in-action shot. Again, Oberschneider he does some really cool in-action concept images. Yeah, my dog is going crazy. Hold on 1 second, everybody. All right, everybody, I'm back. Sorry, the dog started barking. Here is Starjump dog, Callie, hanging out. She is a puppy. She's a good dog, though, but she does like to bark. There she is. She's going to be hanging out with us today. Yes, Quinn, I think the engines do totally rotate for VTOL capabilities, very much like the Idris. From everything I've seen, that is the case. Again, really cool in-action shot that Oberschneider did. Very, very cool. Again, I love these grayscale images. These are done in Keyshot, by the way. That's what CIG uses to create these. Another great shot. Again, you can see the mine things deployed. When the ship is not deploying mines, these big pieces here are folded into the ship. So the ship is really thin when it's not deploying mines. So there's one image. There's a finished image. There is the work in progress image before textures and compositing and stuff. So really cool. More images there. This one highlighting the Nemo drone recovering one of the tephra homing mines. So you can see that there again, the manned dual size 7 up here at the front. One of my favorite images ever in Star Citizen concept ship images is this one right here. I had this one as my desktop wallpaper for a long time. Hey, Sir Berticus. Hope you're well, everyone. Make sure you check out Sir Berticus's channel. He's done some excellent videos on the Genesis Starliner. Yeah, we're going to get to that one very shortly, Berticus. We started with the Nautilus. I'm currently producing 2 videos on each of those ships. And I will say that everyone in chat that Sir Berticus does some absolutely incredible Genesis Starliner videos. So if you are a Starliner fan, make sure you go to his channel and give that a watch. As a matter of fact, I will stand by here. I'm going to post your channel real quick here, Sir Berticus. Definitely, by the way, everyone, there is Sir Berticus's YouTube channel. Make sure you go over there, give him a follow, subscribe to his channel, and watch his Genesis Starliner videos. I love them. They're a big source of inspiration. And I'll probably reference them in my video a little bit. I'll probably call that out and put a link in the description of my video linking to him, Sir Berticus's video. He does a lot of great theory crafting on how the internal layouts of the Genesis Starliner, when it eventually goes through reconcepting what that could look like. So thank you, Berticus. Hope you're enjoying hanging out. So again, there we go. Personally, I hope we see so again, by the way, everyone, if you're wondering sometimes how us 3D modelers can tell if something is if you can tell, some of us 3D modelers can look at a model and go, oh, that's a concept mesh, or it's a final model, or it's white box or gray box. There's a lot of clues sometimes we look for. So one of the big ones, as nice as this look, it's definitely still a concept mesh. One of the biggest giveaways on this one is the thrusters. You can see the thrusters are literally just placeholders in there that they actually kind of cut into the geometry. So again, very unfinished, right? So the last Notos, hopefully I said that right. Thank you for sending the javelin overhead. Appreciate you. Thanks, that follow. Last but not least, we have an image here that is disgusting. I don't like seeing it. That is of the Drake Kraken, best ship in the game, obviously, being attacked, being hit by mines because it flew into a minefield. We all know that wouldn't happen. This is Aegis propaganda. Obviously, people trying to put the Kraken down, trying to put Drake down. It's just not going to happen. We all know the Kraken could fly right through these. Definitely fake news, Shimpasta. Huge, huge fake news. But it's always nice to see the Kraken model, right? And here we can see the Sentry Mines going to work on this glaive? I always forget these Vandal ships. But you can see the Sentry Mine doing its thing. These are the cutaways here of the Nautilus, again, showing the mid-deck there. Always love a good cutaway. This is showing the internal mine deployment room. Also really cool. Some of those mock-ups. Really love the grayscales of these again. I think they did a great job. Here's our bridge area. Again, like I said before, I really hope they don't change a lot about the Nautilus bridge. It's one of my favorites, to be honest with you, out of all the ships. Okay. Next, we're going to watch a video. We're about to wrap up on the Nautilus, but you can't talk Nautilus without watching the following video. And, you know, at first I was a little iffy on showing this. It is something that was not supposed to be shown. It was kind of put out, I believe it was put out originally on like an art station or something. But it's out in the wild now. It's not a leak anymore. It is very much out in the wild, and it's fine to show it. Ender says, Grim, I see a lot of money raised and no bean boozling your face. Yeah, I know. I was saving the bean boozling for nighttime. I was saving it for nighttime, but maybe I need to get to some bean boozling since money has been donated. May have to rock some bean boozles here shortly. I think we're gonna need. I think I may need to hit it. Yep, gonna probably need to hit it. We're gonna watch the Nautilus concept mesh leak that came out a long time ago. A lot of people looked at this and were like, oh, it's in production. I was one of those people. I was super excited, but CIG did confirm this is simply concept mesh. It's just really good, far along concept mesh. So, Ender says, I can't be the only one doing it. Those 8 shots destroy me. So I was trying to stretch this bean boozle for the next 2 months, but you're right. We'll probably need to do a bean today to celebrate the donations that have come in. You all are amazing. You're only $10 shy from $4,500 raised for St. Jude. But let's go ahead and watch this video. There's no sound, so we are going to just watch it in silence. Let me bring it over. There we go, everybody. So this is early concept mesh work of the Nautilus, walking through its interiors here. You got to remember that CIG has a rather large kit of Aegis elements from Javelin, Idris, and all that. So they have a lot of stuff here to put together the internal concept mesh for this ship. So the concept mesh, by the way, is not white box, it's not gray box. This is purely just concept mesh. They use it for the imagery, and what will have to be done is when white box is done and gray box, they will go through, use the concept mesh, and essentially ultimately replace almost everything here with game optimized parts and pieces and fill out the detail work. Okay, but you can see a lot of it has really been thought through already. So the nice and to metrics. So when this ship does eventually go into production, a lot of it is here. They really just sort of got to rebuild things, right? They just sort of got to rebuild it to what we see here. I love the engineering rooms, by the way. But you can see a lot of the greebling, a lot of the internal structure is there. I really hope CIG keeps the kind of the gray and red aesthetic too. You can see here the Sentry Mines. This is Mine Hub 3. And you can see Sentry Mines lined up here on the conveyor belt ready for deployment. Pretty cool to see. Again, love all the side detail work here. Some of it farther along than others, even just from a concept mesh standpoint, but still very cool to see. Here we're going, you can see the Nemo drones in the Nemo drone bay. Not exactly sure how this works, but that kind of shows you what the Nemo drones look like and where they're currently situated in the ship. It's just a little hard to understand what that Nemo drone bay is supposed to be. Like, does it open on the bottom, or how do they deploy? This is the cargo area for the 64 SCU of cargo. Not very tall, so maybe you won't be able to stack it actually. Yeah, Sir Burticus, I think it's a man turret, and I think it's going to be locked to the gunner for the dual size 7. We have a room there that's unfinished. I'll go backtrack here. You'll see this is a room that'll probably be built out further, just hasn't been built out yet. Some of this is a lot simpler here. You can see they haven't really detailed this out very much. I think they're going to go back to another room here. Here's more cargo. Here's some external animations of the ship showing how certain things move. You were talking about those VTOL engines. Here you can see that now the engines do rotate for VTOL. You can see the mine deployment booms, the mine deployment arms deploying, and the mines ejecting out. Again, there's one on the bottom, one on the top, 2 on each side. Those fold in when not in deployment operations. You can see the movement and articulation of the port and starboard turrets here. CIG even has gone so far as to work on some preliminary landing gear animations, elevator animation. Here's that central lift, as well as back turret animations. That's one thing that surprises me with CIG on their concept meshes, is they actually do go into some animation stuff. For those of you that saw the original Kraken concept video CIG release, they actually explored some animation for it as well, including its landing gear animation. So really cool here. You can see those booms going, and you can see once again how it deploys those mines out of the arms. So supposedly we're going to be able to deploy 4 at a time if needed. I love the underside of this ship. This ship has one of the best undersides, I think, out of all ships. Here, they're zooming in on the mesh, showing the mine boom. Moving over here, you can see the, so this is a man turret. You can see this here. These are currently dual size 3s. I do think these will be upgraded to dual size 4s. You can see the port airlock, or the port airlock here. This you will be able to connect to a capital docking collar. You can see the framing for the capital docking collar here. So this is the same sort of setup as like the Hull C. You can see the bridge here, as well as the big, large dual size 7, as well as the entryway into the dual size 7. So again, this is usually slid back. You enter from up here. Once you enter the manned turret, it then slides and moves forward. This, by the way, this video was even before they had developed the Ares Ion and put that out. It had been concept, I think, but not flight ready. So now that they actually have real size 7 guns, when they put those on there, they may be smaller or bigger, depending. I'm not sure. Very, very cool ship. I think one of the coolest designed ships in all of Star Citizen. I'm very excited for this one. Very, very excited for it. Love the look, love the colors. I think CIG did a bang-up job on it. So, yeah. I50mm says, how many ships do you think are actually completed for Squadron 42 but locked away from the public until Squadron drops? I mean, that is the big question. I mean, we've seen some of those in Squadron 42 videos. We saw a big consolidated Outland ship, a really big one, like Pioneer size. We saw variants of the Cutlass and others that we don't have in game. So who knows, actually? Who knows? And obviously we got the variants of the Bengal and stuff. So we really don't know, but I think there's quite a few ships that we are going to be really surprised by. And those might go on sale after Squadron 42 releases to buy for the verse. We'll have to see. All right. Okay, everybody, we do need to move on. We're going to move on to the next ship here. But before we really get into that, I want to once again remind everybody we have 3 raffles currently going on for St. Jude. You can donate. I think it's $5 for the Cutter Red Festival. So if you donate $25, you can buy 5 tickets for the Cutter Red Festival pack if you want. Okay, or if you donate $5, you can get 1 ticket for it. The 600i is $40 ticket buy-in. RSI Polaris Corvette is $100 dollar ticket price for that raffle. Again, the money going straight to St. Jude, not to Starjump at all. We've currently raised $4,490 after 8 days. After only 8 days, or really 7.5 days of charity fundraising for the St. Jude Play Live campaign. So that's absolutely amazing. Our next goal is $5,000. We really appreciate all that effort that you all have played in bringing this in. So really, really appreciate that. Again, we do have a lot of ships and items that will be up for raffle over the course of April to May. Again, we have another RSI Polaris Corvette that we'll give away in May. We also have an Anvil Carrack, another Misk Fortune. We're going to have a Super Hornet, Nomad Starter Pack, Drake Buccaneer, Anvil Hawk, Anvil Hurricane, Gladius Valiant. We're going to have Starjump Challenge coins as well as custom Starjump liveries for Fleet Viewer. So a lot to still get through. We're really just getting started. It's so far just been a really fun event too. I think me and Enda are both excited to get to some dual streaming nights or party game playing nights. That'll be coming very soon. But we're really excited for it. It's been very successful so far. So thank you all very much. I'll switch over real quick to here. We do have a lifetime fundraising number of $20,933. which is absolutely incredible. Thank you all so much. Ender doing the vast majority of that fundraising there in previous years for St. Jude Play Live, so it's been absolutely amazing. We've had some incredible donations come in. You can see their ambiguities coming in with $860 donated. We have it's seriously been incredible, and that ambiguities dropped that literally when we just rated a channel. He just heard we were doing a charity, dropped it. But whether it's $5 or $500, every donation's important. Every donation matters, okay? And we really appreciate that. That's why up at this very top bar above my head, you can see that it's highlighted when $40 comes in, when $5 comes in, or when $500 comes in. It does not matter to us. This money is coming in, is going to help kids and their families for St. Jude's. Thank you very much. It's been an awesome Play Live so far. Okay. So, oh, and if you're on YouTube, the Tiltify link's pinned to the top of chat. If you're on Twitch, I'm going to post the donate thing. We actually have it right above, but it's going to post again because, hey, text is free. There it is. There's a link. Please donate if you can. Also, do not forget, everyone, to follow the Starjump Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. If you are on Twitch and you haven't been to our YouTube channel, what are you doing? Make sure you go over there, give it a subscribe, thumbs up some videos. We want to get our subscriber counts up over there. We're at 14,100. It's been a lot of hard work to get it up that much, so thank you very much there. And then obviously, if you are over on YouTube, please come to the Twitch. Really appreciate it. Give the channel a follow. Really appreciate that. And then, of course, you can also go to icon.city.co.uk and save 10% with the Starjump code when you purchase an Icon pack. Okay, and they do have Star Citizen, Microsoft Flight Simulator, tons of games. Get in on that while you can. Okay. All right. The next ship. I know there's some people in chat that are excited we're about to talk about this one. I have a feeling there's some excitement. This is a ship that's really interesting because people really want it, and CIG's all but confirmed it's after 1.0, unfortunately. And it is the Genesis Starliner. Okay, the Genesis Starliner. A very, very interesting ship. A ship that I think is going to appeal to a lot of people once that gameplay is out, because it's going to be a great passive gameplay loop where everything sort of takes place for the predominantly on the ship. You're not going out and looking for salvage. You're not going out and looking for rocks. You're not going out and looking for outposts. You're really, it's an interesting gameplay loop because everything revolves around what is happening on the ship. How fast you get the ship and what kind of route you do, how you serve those passengers, all that kind of stuff. So again, it's an interesting gameplay loop, that passenger gameplay loop. We are going to talk a little bit about that. First, we are going to go into the Genesis Starliner, talk a little bit about that. Before we get too far into that, I want to bring something up. I'm going to bring up this image here. Okay. A lot of people have referenced this image. This is from the Star Citizen 1.0 panel from CitizenCon this past year. And CIG has, I'll go ahead and clear this up unless someone can literally point me to where CIG says this. CIG does not say this is the only ships that will come with 1.0. Okay. There are some ships left off of here, and the ships left off of here, some of them CIG has explicitly said are post 1.0 ships. So for example, there's no Misk Endeavor down here.
Thank you.
Oh, Snoochie Boochie with the $25 donation. Snoochie, thank you very much. Donated towards the 1 day of meals for a patient. Snoochie, you're getting the Starjump Grim quadruple salute right there. Thank you very much, Snoochie. Appreciate you. I get very excited. The closer we get to that $5,000 goal, you all are amazing. Thank you. There's ships that are missing from here, though. I want to point out, if you go to Aegis, the Nautilus is not on here. The Nautilus is not on here for 1.0, if you go by that logic. I do not. CIG has not stated emphatically that this is the 1.0 ship list. I have not found anything where they definitively say that. Okay? I'm not saying it's not supposed to somewhat mean that, but I have not found a single dev that has said, oh yes, that slide are all the ships that'll be with 1.0. Because there's some ships that we're all but certain are coming out before 1.0 and are not on here. And Jack Gage on Twitch makes a great point. Golem's not on here, although the Golem wasn't announced at that point. But take ships like the Raylan. The Raylan is not under here for Gatak. Or Gatak, however you want to say it. Right? Hey, there's Snoochie. Estee, thank you very much. Appreciate you. So some ships are not listed here. Obviously under Crusader, which is, where's Crusader? Why am I missing it? Am I just blind? Where's Crusader? Am I literally that blind? Is there no Crusader on here? Oh my God, Crusader's not even on here. Oh no, there it is. Sorry. So for Crusader, you can tell it's wrong. Again, if anyone tells you that this is the definitive 1.0 ship, there's another way to prove that it's not. Over here, they list A1 Spirit, but don't list the C1. They don't list the E1, which maybe the E1 is not, but they don't list the C1. That's a release ship. Ares has been grouped because it's just the Ares. They may have meant this to be the Spirit series because they did Ares, Hercules, and Mercury. But their ships we're missing, okay? We're missing the Aegis Nautilus. Under Crusader, we're missing the Genesis Starliner. Now, they did come out and say that Genesis Starliner is they said that it's a post 1.0 release ship. They have said that. But the one thing that you can bet your house on is that things can and will change. CIG may change what is coming in 1.0. They may decide that they do want passenger gameplay to have a big role in that because maybe there's something they find that's easy to do for those AI routines, and it does get moved up, and we all see how stuff switches around all the time. Yeah, Berticus mentions again, yes, there's no Intrepid, right? No Crusader Intrepid. So I just wanted to point that out before we got too awful far. And yes, Zero says they left out ships for ease of readability. Exactly. There's a lot of people out there, though, claiming that this is the 1.0 ship list. It is not. I think it's probably a good go-by, but this is not like the definitive 1.0 take it to the bank ship list. Okay? So keep that in mind. All right, Genesis Starliner. We're going to move down here. Again, this is a very old concept. Okay? So expect a lot of things to change. Expect a lot of stuff to change. Hey, there's Riggsy. Riggsy, I hope you're well. Let the opium flow. Riggsy, by the way, real quick, let me pause just for a second. Sorry, we got Riggsy up in here. Okay, let's see here. Okay, and Riggsy, you do know that it says you're supposed to get your poster, Riggsy, between April 10th and 14th. I did get that sent out. Everyone give Riggsy a big old salute. Riggsy was extremely patient with a poster that he won. Living overseas, I had a lot of issues with overseas poster shippings. I have finally solved it. Big shout out to Printiful. Printiful has the easiest and cheapest international poster shipping, so thank you very much. Okay, let's see here. Let's keep going. I want to get a little further, and then we might pop a Bean Boozle, because I know we've had some donations here. They talk a little bit about travel here. They kind of mention these systems, which I think are really interesting. Again, it's kind of funny, some of these systems coming. Obviously, Terra, Stanton, and Castra coming in 1.0. I'm going to go ahead and move on. They have just a lot of little things relating to passenger transport. But we're going to kind of move on down a little bit here to the Genesis Starliner specifics. A lot of its specifics are actually not in place, but it is a ship that is 85 meters long, so about Starlancer length. If you were curious about how big the Starliner is currently concepted, it's about Starlancer length, okay? There may be some of you that say, Grim, do you think it's going to, or some of you may ask, Grim, is this going to change? Is it going to get bigger? I think it's very possible it gets bigger. Very possible. It depends on what the redesign looks like. I think a better question is, have they reconcepted the Starliner at this point? I do think they've reconcepted it already, and we just haven't seen it. But I do think there's some concept work that has been done regarding the ship. I do think there's some that's been done. But currently, it's listed as a concept length of 85 meters long with an 80-meter beam, which is a really wide beam. You can expect that the wings on whatever reconcepted mesh they come up with for the Starliner will probably be wings that fold up or animate in or something to cut down on its beam width. Because if I'm not mistaken, I have to look, but I think that might be at the outermost limit for what is allowed. 25-meter height, kind of a tall ship actually. Is considered a large ship at 85 meters long. That is a large ship, not the largest of the large. The largest of the large being about 125 meters, about Carrack size. Currently, this being about a 90-meter ship, it's on that Starlancer size of large. Okay. The ship, let's go through a few things here. They talk about this is all just sort of in lore talk here, but they talk about its engines and how they're very fuel efficient during travel. I would suspect that this ship is very long distance indeed, so it's able to go very far. I think that's going to be a mainstay of this ship, is that it's a long distance traveler. Burticus says, please no switchblade wings like the BMM. Yeah, it's going to have some sort of folding wing, some sort of something, because I think the beam is too wide for the hangar metric. Again, it has multiple decks that can support everything from first-class lounges to additional cargo capacity. Whether it's the centerpiece of a private space line or part of a larger system of passenger transport, the Genesis can be used for a variety of support roles. Potential owners and operators can rest easy. The Starliner is a ship designed to pay for itself. Very, very cool. One of the things they go into down here is some of the flight attendant concepts. I really hope that when the concept goes flight ready, or when the Genesis Starliner goes flight ready, I hope it released with some uniforms that are either an additional purchase or maybe it comes with. But I think you should get some with it. I think that would be cool. Yeah, bingo, that's a great point. It's going to have a massive life support system in it to hold that many passengers. Again, we know that life support is sort of based on the amount of passengers that a ship can support, or the amount of people a ship can support. They do talk about potential variants here. It says transit companies use several different configurations for the Genesis Starliner, usually classified as luxury, mid-range, and essential. Okay, so sort of 3 levels there. So we could see CIG explore that more in a concept, or that may come into just how you decorate or assemble the inside of your ship. Again, there's a couple ways CIG could do that. It could be a variant thing, or it could be something you do with the decorator mode that CIG has talked a little bit about at SitCon last year. It says here, because every Starliner is significantly modular, there is no one standard example for each type. Again, hinting to decorator mode and not variants. More complex models typically carry fewer passengers but with additional amenities, so lounge, food options, personal quarters. The essential model focuses on more bulk cargo and less on crew and passenger comfort. The model available in the concept sale today is the 40-person mid-range class. So, okay, so they're saying there that the model that we all purchased at Concept is the mid-range passenger variant. There's obviously a cargo variant, possibly, or modular version of that, but a cargo version and or a sort of a luxury travel version that's probably got private crew quarters and stuff like that. They show a few fun livery examples here, and that's sort of the sale page here. Going into Star Citizen Tools.
Passengers. Welcome to your Meridian Transit in-system
What am I?
flight to
There's
Mars.
some video here. Okay. Going into here, they talk a little bit more about the ship. They talk about its engines. Again, a lot of the stuff laid out on the page, including additional configurations, both transit, private, racing, and military. Again, talking about these last 2 variants here. The racing variant, the frame is frequently used by professional racing teams who modify the interior to store and repair small racing ships like the M50 and their support equipment. And then ultimately a military variant that says different branches of the UE High Command have used various different modifications of the standard Genesis space frame for a number of different roles. These include patrol, hunter killers, and space warning and control system and command and control platforms. So and those are referred to the Star Hunter and Star Seeker. I am doubtful those are coming to the players. I truly think we're going to get 2 variants. One is going to be the passenger variant, the mid-range passenger variant, and I think they'll come out with another variant that is like the high-end luxury version. The reason I don't think we're going to get the cargo variant is because, yeah, the Hercules does that. Burticus says it right there. A lot of these roles were taken over by the Hercules, 100%. And maybe they're just not even a thing anymore. But I think those are Hercules now. That's what the M2 and the C2 are doing. So I don't think we're going to see that. Even the racing variant there, that's equally handled by the C2 Hercules. Also Crusader ships. So it makes sense that would be the case. Some people have often asked me, what do I think a Starliner reconcept would look like? I'm going to be honest with you. I think it'd look a lot similar to the Hercules series. I really do. I think there'd be some differences because I think they want to have passenger windows down the side. So I do think there'd be a lot of differences in some of that wing configuration, but I think there'd be a lot of parts and pieces taken from the Hercules series versus like the Intrepid or Star Runner or anything like that. I think if I had to ultimately guess, I think the Hercules will be part Spirit, part Hercules melded together. I think that's what it's going to be. I am working on a reconcept of the Hercules, actually, of the Genesis Starliner that borrows heavily from those. And then again, on Burticus's channel, he's looked at a lot of internal layout changes that would need to occur for the ship to make sense. Again, not going to go over a lot of the component sizes and all that stuff right now because it can and will change, so I'm not too concerned about that. I will go over that in the VOD. There are some visuals here. Those of you that have been to Starjump Fleet Viewer will know that we essentially use this model in Fleet Viewer. And a lot of people have quickly told me, oh, that's going to be reconcepted. I know, I totally know. The reason I use the concept model is because that's what CIG sold. I don't try to get too creative on Starjump Fleet Viewer. What you see is what you get, right? But this is the ship as we currently know it. It's a really cool design. I hope it doesn't change that much, to be honest with you. Maybe just updated with a few things. But ultimately, I really like the look and feel of this and hope that they at the very least keep the spirit of this intact. I hope they keep the spirit of it intact. I love the front view of this ship. Absolutely love it. Yep, teeny weeny cockpit window. It's got the very thin window again. Think Hercules. Again, think Hercules series. Yeah, there we go. Engines will definitely change because Crusader is really big on their engines and they have a distinct look now. So expect the entire engine array to change. I've always loved this image though. Really, really cool concept image. Flatter nose here, a little bit different, but kind of cool. All right, everyone. So we're going to do real quick a Bean Boozle before we go any further because we are going to watch a behind the verse that focuses on the Starliner. But real quick, it's Bean Boozle time. It's Bean Boozle time. Let's switch over real quick. Bean Boozle time. I really don't want to do this, but Ender's making me. See, Bean Boozle jelly beans. Got the spinner up top here. We will spin. Last time I got very lucky and landed on berry blue or toothpaste. So that was the mystery. So I got very lucky. I'm gonna do this. Ender, if it's really gross, am I allowed to spit it out? Hopefully. Here we go, though, everybody. Nope. Okay, nope. There we go. I'm gonna spin it here. Okay, it landed on that one, which is top banana or wet dog. Top banana or wet dog. That's the one we got, so I need to find that one. Bear with me, everybody, here as I find top banana or wet dog. I think I found it. Let me pull this one out of the pack, though, because I didn't open all of them, but I need to. I will do that. Okay, so is this the one? Yep, there it is. Top banana or wet dog. That is our one right there. Here we go. I'm going to do it. I don't want to do this. I do not want to do this. I think it's wet dog because it does not smell good. This does not smell good. I'm going to tell you right now. This smells absolutely rank. By the way, I don't know, Ender, if you're in chat, but you may want to experience this with me. I'm going to jump in stream chat. Ender, if you want to jump in. This is Wet Dog. I'm pretty certain, because I am not lucky enough to get top banana. I actually love banana, but all right, here we go. Here we go, everybody. Thank you for your donations. Absolutely amazing. Really appreciate it. Here we go.
I'm in the middle.
There he is. Oh, God. Oh,
Yes.
God. This is Wet Dog.
Horrible.
Oh, God. Did you get Wet Dog?
Oh, yeah. No, I definitely didn't get top banana.
Oh, this is
Ugh.
gross. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, God. This is a nasty flavor.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this is what Wet
No.
Dog tastes like, but it tastes like absolute beep. I can't say the word.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, God. This is hard to get down.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I don't know if I can get it down. Oh,
I'm
God.
done with mine. Oh, God.
Oh, God.
That is incorrect, Berticus. I can confirm you will taste it.
I can't get it down. What? Jesus. Oh, God.
I would suggest taking a swig of a drink.
Yeah.
It's going to stay with you no matter what.
Oh, man.
It's haunting.
I'd eaten it. A little piece fell out. I
Oh,
think
man.
in my drink, but oh yeah, there's a tiny piece that fell. Oh, my drink still tastes good. I was chewing it, and I had two pieces on one on each side. I'm like, maybe if I separate it, and it'll diminish the taste. No, it just made it worse. Oh, God.
Yeah, that.
There's an aftertaste. It doesn't matter if you swallowed it. You can
It
still
doesn't
taste
go
it.
away. No, it will not go away.
Oh, God. Okay, but it was
That's
worth
one
it
of the
for
new
kids.
flavors.
Man,
Oh,
that is nasty. I
it's
don't
bad.
know what it tastes like. It tastes like something that's rotted, mixed with used toilet paper.
Yeah, I don't know how they do this. I really don't.
I knew it was
but
Wet
it
Dog
is.
because I smelled it, and there was nothing appetizing about the smell.
Just wait. So when you open all the bags and put them all in there at once,
Yeah.
Grim, and then just let it ferment in your thing for an hour, and then open it and just take a whiff inside, it is
That is
haunting in
I'm
there.
gonna tell you right now, that is gnarly. That is absolutely gnarly.
It's not even the worst I've had.
Wolf says it great. He says it's when smell becomes a taste, and that is exactly what
Wolf
this is.
is 100% on.
The only
Yeah.
way I can describe this is a taste. Yes,
Yeah.
execute. I'd have to lick the dog to get a good sense of this. That is nasty. That is real nasty. But everyone, we've had some awesome donations come in today. We've had a total of 80, 100, 500. We've had $110 come in during the stream. So we really appreciate it. That's amazing. Thank you all very, very much
Yep.
so far here. Oh my,
It's bad.
Oh my God. Sigelian just raided with a party of 65 viewers sitting the Kraken
him.
flying overhead. There it is, everybody, with the monster raid. Sigelian, hope you are doing well. Hope you had a great stream, Seg. How are things going? It's been a while since I've talked to you. I think it was on the last yacht club we were on. You were on.
Yeah.
Yep. Seg, salute to you, buddy. How was your stream? Hopefully it went well. Dark Acorn says, these guys who do the SC ship renders. Yes, that is us. Dark, welcome to the channel, everyone. Thanks for hanging out with us. We are talking the Nautilus and the Genesis Starliner today. This is my Shipyard series. I do it every Tuesday, where we kind of talk about ships. You can also follow us on YouTube as well. Make sure you go over there and give us a little, thumbs up and all that. Also, type in Starjump Academy on YouTube. You can find some more content there. We are, of course, over on Twitch because you're watching us right there. Please give us a follow on Twitch if you like Starjump, like what we do. Follow the Twitter. We do a lot of stuff over there. And of course, we are doing St. Jude Play Live right now for the month of April and May. Starjump has raised an absolutely incredible amount of money so far at $4,515 after only 8 days of doing the charity. So
awesome.
it's been great. Our next goal is $5,000. This money goes directly to St. Jude, everyone. I want to make that very clear. Dark Acorn says, I wish you guys continue doing those Carrick modules. I have something coming on that very soon, Dark Acorn, very soon. But regardless, we are focused on the St. Jude giveaway the St. Jude charity campaign Play Live through the months of April and May. We have a bunch of stuff planned. I'm going to switch over real quick and bring up our thing again. We have a ton of raffle prizes over the next 2 months, including 2 RSI Polaris Corvettes. One of those going on right now. We're giving away a 600i, a Carrick. There you go, Dark. Misk Fortunes, we gave away an Elgato Stream Deck last Saturday. Super Hornet, Starter Packs, Buccaneer, Hawk, Hurricane, Gladius Valiant. We're giving away Starjump Challenge coins. That's going to start very soon, just confirming that my codes are all good. But I have 10 codes. Actually, I don't have 10. I have 5 codes for that we'll be able to give away. Those are really cool. In May, which is when Play Live really gets going, in May, we're going to give away 3 Starjump Fleet Viewer custom liveries for Starjump Fleet Viewers. So it's going to be really cool. You get to pick the colors, pick the ship, pick the name, put your logos on it, all that good stuff. So it's a big campaign for us. All we ask is that you donate. When you do go to the Tiltify link that you see pinned to the top of YouTube, or you see right there in that donation, that Tiltify link there that was posted up in Twitch there just a bit, if you go there and donate, you will be able to apply your donation to a number of different rewards that can both affect the kids. You can also apply it to raffles that are going on. We currently have 3 raffles in effect. One is for a Cutter Red Festival Starter Pack. That giveaway will happen tonight, Ender, am I correct?
Yes,
I think it
is
says the
tonight.
8th. Yeah.
Yes.
Unless we need to extend it a day. Or I don't know. But we're giving that one away tonight, so you can get on that. Only a $5 buy-in. When you donate $5, you can get a ticket for the Cutter Red Festival Starter Pack. If you donated $20, then you can get 4 tickets for it. On April 15th, we're giving away an Origin 600i with LTI. That is a 600i Explorer Edition, I believe. That is a $40 ticket purchase when you go to the Tiltify link. You can enter that one right now. And then also right now, we have an RSI Polaris Corvette on offer. That is, you get a ticket for every $100 donation you make towards St. Jude via our Tiltify link. Just make sure you click on the Polaris Corvette. Everyone, please, if you do donate, try to leave your email in the notes section. If you don't, it's okay. But if you do, it just makes it a little quicker for us to verify some stuff. But there you go. That's what we're currently doing. It's a big push for us. The disembodied voice you hear right now is Starjump Ender, who's also spearheading this. And has spearheaded it for the years past, and it's a great event. We've been having a lot of fun with it. Switch back to here, you'll see our lifetime raised over the last few years, $20,958. We're almost about to hit that $21,000 mark. So it's crazy,
insane.
Crazy.
My goal this year was to hit 25,000 lifetime raised, and we are doing pretty well to get there. Yeah.
MT Stunner says, how are the rewards working for things like Red Wagon or art supplies? Ender, you're the perfect person to answer that.
I am. So anything that is not related to
Anonymous
like the Red
just
Wagon,
donated $15, by the way.
Thank you. So the rewards for things like art supplies, Red Wagon, those are done by St. Jude. Those are provided by St. Jude. So when you select that, you are paying for that. That is done for St. Jude by St. Jude. Those donations go directly to St. Jude, just like any other donation does, but St. Jude automatically purchases those and gives those to their hospitals.
Yep.
Thank you.
Another donation.
The other
MCD donated $80 to the Origin 600i Explorer. MCD, thank you very much. And Anonymous, thank you for that $15 one. Absolutely legendary. Giving you guys the quadruple salute there. Okay. Thank you very much.
If you want to enter a raffle and also support for the Red Wagon and art supply, please do that if you want to. You'll pay for both. You'll put money in for both. And it'll be the price of both. So it'll be the $5, for example, for the cutter, and then the Red Wagon price as well.
Yep. Yep.
For art supplies price.
Yes, absolutely. And again, thank you for those donations that have been rolling in during this stream. That's incredible. Thank you all very, very much. Really, really appreciate it. I can't express to you how much we appreciate it. It's a big deal. Again, this money going straight to kids does not come to us. Okay. You don't have to worry about Starjump buying door dashes and limousines with this. This goes straight to the kids at St. Jude.
We don't see a dime. We don't touch a dime. And essentially what ends up happening, because if you look and just to give an example, if you look on our incentives, I believe, I don't know if it shows everybody how many
Town Scott just
done,
donated $40 towards a 600i. Sorry, Ender. Another $40 donation
no,
coming in from Town Scott. Thank you very much, Town. Appreciate you.
New toy for hospital play areas, 9,894 have been claimed. What ends up happening is they put those in a fund, and as toys break, they pull from that fund, buy a new toy, and replace it. And sometimes they buy larger toys and dig deeper into those funds, but those funds are separate. So they literally will break those into funds for specific areas for specific things. The art supplies, the meal patients for meals or meals for patients, red wagons, groceries for families, oxygen, and then just the general donations go into larger funds that go into everything. So
exactly. Thanks, Ender. I mean, we're so far just this quick midday stream. You guys have been legendary. I think we're probably pulled in $200 something. Actually, correction. MT Stunner just donated $100 to help unlock a red wagon for St. Jude. Stunner, getting the, I got to get my double salute icon up. Just need to let her run here. Thank you very much, Stunner. Absolutely legendary. You are all legendary today. I was just about to say we're at about $230 raised just in this stream, but now it's about $330 raised in this stream, which is incredible. Everyone, we are at $4,750 raised for St. Jude so far. So close to our $5,000 goal. You're all incredible. That may mean that this week we need to give away our first. You know what? I'm going to think about this. With this incredible amount of generosity, we may have to break out some custom fleet viewer liveries early. We may need to give one away this week. We need to look at that. Everyone, we're going to put our heads together. All right. Let's get back to this.
I'm going to pop out. You keep doing your thing.
All right, buddy. Thank you so much. All right, here we go. We're going back to the Genesis Starliner. Thank you all for putting up with that break for St. Jude. Don't have too much longer left in the stream, but wanted to get back to the Starliner. Again, I know a lot of people are excited about this one. So going to some of the images here, you can see Starliner in flight. You can obviously tell this does not borrow very heavily from the current Crusader design language. Again, that's going to have to morph over time, right? They're going to have to reconcept this if they haven't already, especially with the work that has gone into the Crusader, art pack, art kit since this concept was ever announced, of which a lot of work has gone into it. We have ships now like the Spirit series, Intrepid, all that kind of stuff is out. I do want to pop up real quick here. There was a time where I was doing a Crusader. I was going to do a Crusader cinematic. I never did it. But I did start working on some previews for it. Here's one of those. Started working on liveries and designs and tests. Again, it's a ship that when I was messing around with the model, it became very quick and very apparent that the ship still has a lot of work that needs to happen. Its model is very, very rough. It's one of those models that the hollow model is like stupid levels of like rudimentary. I would even maybe go so far as to say the Starliner is the worst hollow model that CIG has. I can confidently say that. It's probably the worst hollow model that they have. A close second being the Endeavor, the third being the Crucible. Just meaning that they were made so long ago that they're very undetailed and kind of kit bashed. They're not optimized. They're pretty bad to work with. But I would say the Starliner is very, very high on that list. But cool images. Again, I really hope it retains a lot of the look and feel that you see here. We're now going to watch a little bit of this episode here. We're not going to watch the entire thing because it's probably about 15 minutes, but we might skip through some sections. But this is from Around the Verse from 2015, and it's where they deep dive the Genesis Starliner with Randy Vasquez, I think, who's one of the developers at that time. Not sure if they're still there, but we're going to look and watch a little bit of this and see some details about the ship. They do show some I wouldn't even call it white box, some very early concept mock-ups of internal layouts. Obviously, this is going to heavily change. You're going to see references, for example, to the sim pods and stuff that have been talked about because some of these early things show sim pods in there. Again, obviously, this is a very early episode. We see the little travel things on the wall, and Ben Lesnick is there. We don't see him anymore, unfortunately, but here we go.
James had a chance to sit down with Randy Vasquez and take a look at our newest concept ship, the Genesis Starliner.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Randy Vasquez. Randy, how you doing?
Doing good, man. How you so?
Pretty good. Thanks for coming on. All right, we're going to do something a little differently today, guys. We're going to give you a sneak peek at the white boxing phase of the Genesis Starliner. Randy's been working on that for a while now, so we're just going to go ahead and hand it over to him. And what do you got to show us?
All right. So basically, I have some iterations of the Starliner, kind of like where it started, and this is kind of where it started here, where like you don't really see much happening. It's very much so blocky out. And then as the iterations went on and as the process, we started figuring out what the Starliner actually was and kind of what was happening. So then the more details started going, you started adding more components, start shifting the seats around, doing a lot of different things with it. So actually, let me just show you what's going on.
Yeah, for sure.
So this is the first iteration, as I said, not much happening. It's the mixed version that's actually going to be on sale. So we have like luxury seating, we have luxury sleep pods, we have the seats, we have
Is it really quiet?
for them.
I've got it
we have,
boosted
like,
about as
economy.
much as it can
So,
go.
like,
I
if you like
don't
the
know
economy
why it's
sleeps,
so
like,
quiet.
You know, these little pods and stuff for people to go through, and then like
see
the
if I can
luxury
fix it.
ones, you see like they have a little bit more space.
Yeah.
So this ship was actually interesting in that it challenged a lot of our designs. So I'm gonna move over to another iteration.
I can go ahead and tell you that some of these old videos are mixed really quietly. The old Around the Verse episodes and stuff, their maximum volume is not loud at all. They're not they're not well mixed from an audio standpoint. I've got it boosted in OBS and boosted in YouTube. It's pretty much as far as I can go. I can't move the slider, so hopefully it's not too bad. We're not going to watch this whole thing, but just to get a sense here of some of the internal layouts they're playing with.
Now it's a little bit more complete than that one. So this one right here is one of the other ones. As you see, the seating has changed. Some bathrooms were added. The cockpit's a little bit more situated out. But again, we were looking at it, we're like, this doesn't really have what we need. I mean, and then like we started thinking about the different features that were going into the ship itself. For instance, we didn't think about like safety features. We didn't think about how long it would travel it'd take to travel from like one planet to another. There's just so many questions that we just didn't have answered. So we've been working with the guys in Austin because they've been ones that have taken over the PU and stuff. We've been taking over the ships and doing ship work here. So we've been kind of collaborating.
Yeah,
between the two.
design elements and stuff.
Yeah, it's actually really, really been interesting on a lot of the different things. So again, like this one right here has a bunch of different type seats, but then again, what's the gameplay there?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
also the space, like the spacing wasn't really what we needed. So going through.
You can see too that this was a very, very early this is how they used to do the white boxing very, very early. Some of this original concept stuff. You can tell they're just using placeholders for walls. They're throwing seats in there. They just got generic geometry for toilet and sink, because in a way, this is just them sketching out the area. Obviously, now CIG does it in a much different way. They actually do full concept meshes. They use kits from other ships and plug into here. So again, going back to it, is there a new version of the Starliner concept that exists in CIG using the Crusader kit? I personally think there is, even if it's not fully thought out. I think they did at least take another stab at it, and maybe that's not the final one we will see. But I do think that they've tried to work it up. Now, again, I'm going to switch to. I'll go to Starjump Fleet Viewer real quick here. I know someone was talking about the size here. You know, the Genesis Starliner at 85 meters and the Starlancer. Again, this is before CIG was really working their metrics really good, okay? Those images do look a lot bigger, but that's probably because their seats are too small, right? So I'm going to switch this to top view. I mean, again, you can see, if you want a good idea of the Starlancer's length, it's about the same length as this ship. It's very close. Just a matter of like 2 meters difference. So some of you may be like, well, it needs to grow a lot according to those pictures and according to be able to, if it's going to be a medium passenger carrier, and that may be the case. And if that occurs, you never know. It might grow up to something like this and be somewhere in like, let's take let's use a Carrack as a good go by, right? So it's a 126 meter long ship. So they would it's very possible that they would grow it to somewhere in that range, which it looks like I scaled it up to about 120 some meters long. You all have tried to land a Carrack in a hangar, though. You've seen how tight it can be, and look how much wider the Crusader is. So I guarantee you these wings are going to articulate and fold in somehow. That's just a guarantee. It's too wide for the hangar metrics as it currently stands. So yeah. So going back,
like the FPS standards for like make sure spacing is there. The Hindenburg
here, these are those sim pods that you're supposed to be able to jump in and play Arena Commander or do other things like that, or FP, you know, all that kind of stuff. So we'll see if these come back. I think you can go to the Crusader. I think you could go to, sorry, not the Crusader, that tech shop on Microtech and see these. I think they do have those in there. They're not functioning, but they do have those, so you can go check those out. I don't know if CIG still plan on having this be a thing. I hope they do. Verticus says, no, I don't want another bigger ship. They already did this to me with the Carrack and MSR. Yeah, I personally think the Starliner could work as a 90 meter long ship. I see it growing. I see it growing. I really do on this one. Let's go ahead.
Looking at different things like
Let me fast forward a little bit here. There we go. As a zoom out, you can see up here again, these are food stations and other things here. We have the cockpit up here with 3 pilots. Moving down, they have an area for sim pods, a passenger area. This seems really tight in here. I would think you would want to move this back a bit and spread out your passengers a little bit more to make room for AI, being able to move about and stuff. Dozer says, question, will I have a med bed? I'm sure this is going to have some basic, probably tier 2 medical facilities on board, being a passenger-focused ship.
Multiple variants right now, and right now this is the mixed one, so it does a dual class system, kind of like it has first class, it has economy, and then the other one, actually, let's see if I don't get in trouble too much, but let's see if we can look at some of the other variants real quick.
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
The luxury version actually was nothing but a few.
So again, luxury version. All they're doing for the luxury version is making a room for bar, putting some lounge areas in here, cutting down on the amount of passenger transport. Looks like there's a lot more private cabins on the lower deck. So it's less economy seating and more personal area space, right? But you can see how rudimentary this is. That's why I personally don't even qualify this as a white box to today's standards. The CIG would not do it this way now. So 1,000,000,000% this ship's got to get a heavy reconcepting.
seats up here. And then the sleeping arrangements were down here where they were like full staterooms. Like if you were to like kind of rent out a full portion of the train, or like a cruise liner type thing. So it's more like a suite.
I'm going to move along here too. You can see in the back here, he starts highlighting things such as like maybe like a lounge area, pool area. Think 890 jump 600i in terms of like luxury transport when you go into the higher luxury, higher tier luxury version of this ship. Again, some of the stuff's just rudimentary, talking about the same stuff they've already talked about. Oh, right here, they show different, these are bathrooms. They show different passenger configurations. So in that first version, they showed the seats all facing forward. Here they show one that's got like the little cubby hole beds. So again, a different sort of thing. And the seats are all facing, like looking at each other, down the center line instead of facing forward. So again, a lot of different options for how they're exploring the interior. The question is, how modular is this going to be? Ultimately, it would be really cool if a lot of this is modular. So for example, imagine there being tracks on the floor that you can have seats, but then you decide how many seats you want. I don't know if they're going to do that though. It's again, there's a lot of unknowns we have on this ship, or we don't. There's a lot of unknowns about this ship that we just don't have information for. Again, the ability to bring up small vehicles and stuff. They talk about that in this video a lot. Going to, again, you're seeing no Crusader kit stuff here at all. These are just like placeholder parts and pieces. I've never even seen these bridge seats. Again, this is before anything existed for Crusader. Okay, they hadn't built out the Crusader kit at all. Vertica says, I'd prefer if it isn't just another 600i touring or 890 jump. I would be right there with you, Verticus. I hope it's not just a competitor to those, but truly leans into like the mass transport of people. However, a luxury variant I see taking on some of those things that a 600i or 890 have. And I would say that the luxury variant's probably to compete with the 600i touring, right? Again, not much more than this, everyone. You're kind of seeing it. But if you're all interested in going back and watching this and seeing the early days of how CIG looked at ships, I really encourage you to go to this channel on YouTube channel or go to Sir Burtica's channel. Really look at the interiors and what could possibly happen with this. But ultimately, the Starliner has got a lot of work that has to be done for its reconcepting. I personally hope that CIG would pull back the curtain on the reconcepting for the Starliner at some point. Again, I'm pretty confident that they have done some base level of work to it. I was hoping to find my reconcepting that I was working on for this ship. I don't think I have it though. Let me see. I have to find it. I don't know where I put it, but I am working on my own reconcepting of this. But what are your thoughts on passenger gameplay? Because one of the things that is talked about, where is, let me find that page again. Stand by, everybody. Let me find my page. Bear with me. Bear with me. Oh, here it is. Here, this is the page I was hoping to find. Here's some early concept stuff too on the subscribers vault. If you're a subscriber, you can go find this. This is from, I'm not sure what the date is on this, but they go into details on some of the layout and planning and stuff. They talk about it being modular. They look at a lot of different seating options, as you can see here, a lot of different layout options for the ship. Again, the ship didn't change its visual appearance much in terms of, in terms of like what they thought it would look like, but they definitely look like they spent a lot of time on the interior. Here's another external version. I really love this, the really aggressive lines here. This has got less sweeping curves like the Hercules series and a lot more aggressive angular lines. That is kind of cool too. I really dig that. Again, we don't know though. You can see a different back end here. They're going to have to reconcept this really heavily. There's a lot that goes into this too that is related to, let me go back to it here, everybody. Sorry, I got a bunch of windows. Bear with me. Let me go back to it. on this page here, now this is Star Citizen Tools again. I'm going to go down. They do talk a lot about, there's an article here, it's a CIG article on civilian passenger transport. This is really good for those of you interested in this one. I'll post the link in chat as well. This one really goes into passenger career, the passenger gameplay loop as a career, and talks about things such as reputation, as well as things like the Aegis and Mixmaster, which are two of the things that are going to be that play into how you interact with your passengers. So Aegis, for example, which is an acronym for Information Communication Entertainment System, is essentially the onboard communication system, and I believe that's how people will order food and drink and all that kind of stuff. That's how you're going to interact with them. And then the Mixmaster is one of those ways that you can further complement those systems. So the Mixmaster is essentially, it's a giant drink mixer, so you're going to be able to make your own drinks. What the Mixmaster is, it's just a different name for a crafting station. Okay, so you're going to be able to craft drinks. CIG's talked a little bit about this when they talked about crafting at CitizenCon, on how we're going to be able to craft our own food and stuff. We're going to be able to craft drinks on here. So the Mixmaster, think of that as a crafting station, right? They've talked a lot about, for example, medical diagnosis and treatment. So to answer the question in chat, yes, there's going to be some sort of medical facilities on board. The ability to customize and upgrade the ship. Again, passenger gameplay is going to be highly tied to your passenger's experience, whether it's good experience, bad experience, all that good stuff. So how we outfit our ships and the systems that make our ship, better or worse than another ship, I think is going to go into that. Flight attendants, I imagine that's going to be hiring NPC people to do that. We've already heard that NPC crews are not part of Star Citizen 1.0. That was pretty controversial. We'll see if CIG changes that. I would hope that CIG allows you to do player crews though, and still have NPC passengers. That's something we don't have clarity on though. And then ultimately, the other thing we don't really know about is how passenger gameplay will tie in at the landing zones. We've seen the passenger game, or the passenger hangar entry at like Microtech and stuff, at those spaceports. There's an area you can go for passenger flights. We don't know if that's just purely NPC-driven passenger flights, or if players are going to be able to land their Starliners and E1s and stuff at those locations, and that's where passengers would board. We don't know. Splixer, thank you for the follow, everyone. Thank you for following my channel. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. You send that javelin overhead every time. It's always epic. Yeah, Scissor Fuzz says it right there. New Babbage has a spaceport section for passenger flights. I'm hoping that's where that gameplay routes through, and you'll see NPCs gather there and then file out and get on board the ship. I wonder how they would prevent players from boarding. That'd be interesting. So again, not as much to talk about with the Starliner, other than it needs a heavy reconcepting. We've talked a lot about the Nautilus, talked a lot about Starliner. These videos are in production. I'm working on them as we speak. I want both of them to be just like my previous Shipyard videos on the Kraken, the Endeavor, the Crucible, and the Merchantman. I want them to go deep. And the idea there is essentially to give you all the information you need to make a decision on whether to pledge for the ship or not. I'll tell you again, I've said this many times, I'm not trying to sell you on a ship. I'm just going to try to give you all known information. I'll do a little speculation at the end, and I'll clearly mark it as speculation. I'll give you a little speculation, and essentially my goal on the Shipyard series is that when you watch one of those videos, you either know to buy a ship, like you know whether you want to buy it or you want to avoid it. It's just to help you make that decision, okay? If you haven't seen my Shipyard series, I got a number of them on the YouTube channel. I want to go ahead and grab this one. My Kraken one is now at 103,000 views, which I'm super proud of. I just put the link in chat, so thank you very much for everyone watching those. Please go give the other Shipyards a few watches as well. Texas Horny Toad, oh my God, $140. Polaris, thank you very much, Texas. I hope you're doing well, Texas. Long time Starjump supporter, has been in our chats for a long time. Thank you very much, Texas Horny Toad, coming in with $140 towards the RSI Polaris. giveaway that we'll do on April 30th. And that's a great segue. I'm giving you the quadruple salute for that, Texas. Thank you very much. Thank you, the MT Stunner, Town Scott, MCD, Anonymous, everyone that's donated today. It's seriously absolutely amazing. Texas, I'm doing well, buddy. Thank you very much. Once again, you all, in an hour and a half, 2-hour long stream, have come out swinging. We've raised damn near close to $500 probably today, which is incredible. Look how close we are, everyone. We're 110 away from 5,000 raised. 110 away. Can you believe that? 490 today. Ender says 490 on this Starjump Shipyard stream. I know you all like to talk ships. I like to talk ships, so it's always good to get on here with you all, talk spaceships, raise a little money for St. Jude. Absolutely epic. I can't thank you all enough. Seriously, I'm continuously blown away. Y'all continuously blow me away with your generosity. We're only $110 away from 5,000, though. That's incredible. When we hit $5,000, that means tonight me and Ender got to do something big. We got to do something crazy. I don't know. Anyways, St. Jude Play Live, make sure you get in on that. Use the Tiltify link pinned to the top of the YouTube chat, or if you're on Twitch, make sure you go to, I just pinned that. That's the wrong thing. Make sure you go to the chat or the link that's coming up now in the Twitch chat. That is to the Tiltify link. When you go there, you can make your donation and you can apply it towards a specific raffle. So thank you for everyone that has done that has made the donations. We got a lot of stuff planned over the next 2 months. You're going to see a lot of Star Citizen related stuff. You're going to see some non-Star Citizen related stuff, okay? Ender does his D&D streams. We have party game nights that are coming up. We got Starjump Station episodes that we're going to do. I think our next Starjump Station I'm going to have Tristpone and hopefully Execute on. That'll be probably next week, though. I do want it to be on ships, and a little bit more on that. I got to get all that arranged. We are going to continue to do these Shipyard episodes. So again, lots of content planned, lots of giveaway raffles, not only raffles, but giveaways. We're going to do that too. We're going to do giveaways to sort of generate views and stuff. So again, a lot of stuff planned, hell of a lot of fun hanging out with you all. I hope you all enjoyed today's discussion. Again, nothing like really new. We're just kind of going over information surrounding the Nautilus, surrounding the Starliner. And this was a great primer for me as I start to produce the next 2 Shipyard episodes, obviously on the Nautilus, on the Starliner. I also will say, too, that the Shipyard videos, I had someone ask this, they generally obviously are going to focus on concept ships, and generally I try to focus on concept ships that aren't about to release. Like, I've had a few people ask for a Perseus one, but I'm not. But the ship's going to be out soon. Oh my gosh, Mufasa just donated $110 towards the RSI Polaris and St. Jude, making us hit the $5,000 mark. So that means we have raised $600 today. I think $600 in this 2-hour stream. Mufasa, I'm giving you the quadruple grim salute. Mufasa, Texas Horny Toad, MT Stunner, Town Scott, MCD. I can go on and on. You all are amazing. All of this money, by the way, going to St. Jude and their families. St. Jude kids and their families suffering from cancer, one of the worst things they could ever suffer from. This money allows them to not pay a dime and get cancer treatment. Allows their families to go through this and not worry about that bill. Okay, so when you donate towards this and you're going for those raffles and stuff, that's awesome. Just know that when you've donated like this, that money is helping a kid. Helping a kid that is going through seriously absolute hell on earth. Okay, so that's incredible. I want you to look at the lifetime goal over here. Starjump lifetime fundraising goal, $21,193 for St. Jude. Everyone, give Starjump Ender a chat, a nice big salute. A lot of that, most of that is from our good boy Ender. Over the years, spearheading the St. Jude Play Live campaign for Starjump, holding it down. really awesome. I'm proud to be part of it this year. But mostly, I'm proud of all you. So I'm pretty speechless right now. Thank you all incredibly, very, very much. I'm speechless. I'll probably cry a little bit when I get off this stream. But as is with everything in life, Grim has to get back to work. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take a look and see who is online, who we can send the Starjump community to, because we have an awesome community. We obviously had that amazing raid from Sigelian. Sigelian, absolutely awesome dude who I appreciate very, very much. We were on Yacht Club with him not too awful long ago. I'm going to send you all over to, I think I have the person picked here. Stand by. Yep, I have the person picked. Now, when I send you over here, I want you to do what you all do so well. I want you to send and bring the Starjump love to this group, to this streamer and their community. Make sure you give them the Starjump love like you always do. Look out for tonight where we will give away the Cutter Red Festival Starter Pack. We're going to be giving that away tonight. So very exciting there. Continue to donate. We really appreciate it. We do have more content planned for this week, so stay tuned for that. The 600i and Polaris giveaway still ongoing, so get in on those while you can. We'll be giving away the 600i on the 15th, the Polaris on the 30th, okay? And this is just the first of 2 Polarises we're giving away. All right, everyone, I'm going to send you over to Elise B. Give her some of that Starjump love. Really appreciate all of you. Have a great day. Do something kind for a stranger. Thank you for getting us to $5,000 raised today, generating over $600 today. Incredible. Thank you very much. Everyone, take it easy. I'm going to start the raid. Make sure when you jump in Lazy B's channel, give her and her community some of that Starjump love. Spread some of that positivity you all bring so well. Thank you, everybody. Have a good day.